Good evening and welcome to another session in GunnerKing's Court. Today I am privileged to have Lottie on from Cannon Chatter. Great to have you on board once again. And we've got we're going to keep it to a nutshell of just one story, really, one that's broken today and how it affects our current transfer dealings with his, or potential transfer dealing, should I say, with his teammate. So yeah, I mean, just to kind of get straight into it, the story that we wanted to discuss, which really is kind of gaining traction at the moment, is Lyon not only being open to selling Houssam Aouar to us or whoever is suited for our and his representation, but Bruno Guimarães, who we are also potentially interested in. The Gunners have been told that a deal in the region of 30 million or above will be sufficient to get this deal done. Just to kind of give you a bit of an overview of the player, he made 33 starts last season. He played 33 times and started 22 of those games last season. 3 goals and an assist, averaging 2.3 tackles per game, which is very good for the French league. Incredibly accurate passer, as you can see with the percentiles of accurate passes completed. Average of sort of key passes in a game is very high as well. No errors leading to goals. I think he's a very, very, very good playmaker come defensive midfielder. I find, which a lot more. I mean, I'm not saying he's a Busquets, but he plays in that kind of mold where he can intercept, he can tackle. It's very, very physical, but with that comes really good technique. And he's very good on the ball, very confident on the ball, able to play out of the press with a pass or beat the press, just with his foot and his body movement. He's a prospect. He is a solid prospect from what I've seen. But Lottie, I mean, what would your thoughts be on? I guess a few things. Like, do you think what sort of player? Because I think it's obvious to see that we're trying to get a central midfielder, a deeper lying one. What sort of traits do you think that we should be looking for, and what player that we've been linked to would you say excites you the most?
If I'm honest with you, Guimarães he's actually quite interesting. He's really quite versatile. Mm-hmm. He's at central midfielder. He's at defensive midfielder, and if we really, really needed it, which we highly don't, he can play as a centre back. So he can play in those 3 areas of the pitch. And I think that's definitely an option. I mean, he's in contract till 2024, I believe. And at the moment he is playing out in Tokyo, playing with Martinelli, which is great. He's played 3 games and he's had 2 assists, which is pretty decent. I'm not sure where Brazil finished in the group because I haven't actually looked today because I haven't been in central London all day. As we saw earlier, we bumped into each other on the train earlier.
That's right.
But yeah, no, I think he's very interesting. I haven't actually physically watched him play properly, but I've obviously seen him on YouTube. But any YouTube video can make a player look absolutely phenomenal.
Of course,
So it's a case of will he fit into the Premier League and the way we play? How will he partner up with the likes of Sambi? How will he play with Partey? And there's loads of different things to fit into it, but he's definitely something we're looking for. I think in terms of comparisons to I'd take either, if I'm honest with you. I'm the more and more I hear about I'm interested in him. Definitely over at Cannon Chatter. Stephen is massive fanboy for him. So I think him or Guimarães will be very, very, very interesting.
Is it a little too much to ask for both? Like, I personally, I think look, we definitely
They're
need.
both bargains, to be fair.
Yeah,
They're both absolute bargains.
They're fairly priced. I mean, for someone who's in his contract for 4 years, 30 million pounds isn't massive. I think with our we did a show on that yesterday. Our Maddison or Odegaard. I think we should get Maddison and our. And I think a Guimarães offers you. I think he's a halfway house between a Bissouma and a Neves. That's the easiest way to describe him. Like he doesn't have the Premier League experience that those two have, but in terms of looking at Neves' strengths, it's going to be a lot more on the ball, a lot more kind of creativity, ball retention, being press resistant, and being able to contribute offensively, like with goals as well as kind of assists. With Bissouma, you do have those abilities, but lesser to a lesser extent than Neves. But what you've got is power, pace, athleticism, strength, physical presence, and you've got the capacity to partner him with Partey and just create a wall that no one would get past in the middle of the park. And I think with Guimarães, it's like kind of like a decent blend of both of those profiles and strengths of player that I see with him. But yeah, he looks good.
I think he'd be very interesting to play alongside Sambi, because I did a lot of research on Sambi, and I've watched the whole of last season with Anderlecht because my cousin's a fan. He recorded every game, so it was a lot of footage. But he's absolutely incredible, and from what I've obviously seen on YouTube, blah 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 blah, I think it'll be interesting to see them in the middle of the park in going forward, because we haven't had that in such a long time. I mean, Partey tries, but with a donkey like Xhaka next to him, he can't do much. He just can't do it.
I think, yeah, and I think as well, it'll be interesting. I think I'm going to look myself a bit later to see what percentage of those accurate passes were forward ones from Guimarães. But a pass accuracy of 90% is very high. I think naturally that would drop a bit coming to the Premier League. The intensity, the press is much more kind of frequent. So it's very difficult to it'll be difficult to maintain that standard, however, not impossible. But I think definitely, yeah, like his strength is passing. And, if those are forward passes, ones that are breaking lines more often than Xhaka, which
I think anyone could do that. I don't mean to be funny. I'm not his biggest fan, so
Xhaka's shown he can do it, but for one reason or another, for Arsenal, like that goal against France, the third goal,
it's the only thing I never understood about him. He was brilliant for Switzerland. Why can't you do that at Arsenal? I know there's certain sections of this fan base that want him out, and I've not had the fact I don't like him, but I wouldn't go that far. Do you know what I mean? But it's not all of us, and it's just I struggle to understand why can't you just prove them wrong and play how you play on the Switzerland international stage for us, and then we wouldn't complain.
Yeah,
it's something I've never really understood, and I think the majority of Arsenal fans will agree with me. We don't get it. Why?
No.
Can't you play like this? I mean, it's not like he hasn't got Partey around him now. He's got someone that's not El Sideways. I mean, he's got someone with talent next to him, and he's just nothing from him. I don't get it. I really don't.
Yeah, and I think it's definitely, if we get like Guimarães and Lokonga playing together, or someone like that, you've got guys that can intercept and win the ball, but also when they got the ball, they can break lines when they pass forward.
And I think
if you've got that from the deeper areas, that's fine. But yeah, if you've got that from the deeper areas, it's a bonus, and it helps your creative side as well.
No, definitely, I completely agree. I'm sorry, I know I'm going on about Sambi a bit, but if you do partner them up, I think Sambi would pick up a few things from him. I mean, the only thing with Sambi is that he goes straight in with his feet. He doesn't even think about getting a card. He just gets the ball. He's agile enough to keep his balance, but he just goes straight in. He needs to sort of sort his balance out, and then, how do I put it? Be careful where he's sticking his foot in, basically, and to avoid the card. But I think he could learn a couple of bits of him, definitely. Well, both of them can learn stuff off Party. As long as they're not learning off Xhaka, I'm quite happy.
Absolutely, yeah. And I think, yeah, like I wouldn't be too disheartened to see Guimarães.
No, definitely not. He's still.
To come to Arsenal. I'm still kind of holding a candle out for Bissouma. That's still been my top target all summer. But yeah, he definitely is a prospect.
Yeah, how do you think he'd fit in the league though? That's the question. Know.
And
I just don't know. I think he's got a fair chance, but it depends how quickly Arsenal fans turn on him. Sections of Arsenal fans turn on him, not all of us. Sections.
Yeah, I think that would be the question for me. The biggest question would be, is that something he's going to be able to do for the additional 10 million that I think Brighton want for a Bissouma? You know, is it better to actually go for the guy that's proven? But yeah, I mean, looking again, I think tackles as well, as you were saying, with Lokonga's game, making 2.3 a game. Again, I'd like to look at percentiles of those that are successful, which would be interesting. But yeah, he's a solid tackler, and I think, yeah, Lokonga would be in good company, learning off of him in that side of the game. But yeah, I'm just going to go to some of the comments quickly. Bruno Guimarães is better than Bissouma, says Cannon Chatter. I'm guessing
that is Stephen.
Yeah.
G's on his own account tonight. I've seen G pop up at Stephen.
Yeah, no, it's big up the rest of the Cannon Chatter people in the building.
Hey, boys.
And yeah, I think, I think, like maybe you could say as a footballer, he is better than Bissouma and probably as complete, if not more, a complete midfielder.
I think the only thing Bissouma's got over him is his Premier League experience. To be honest.
Pep came from a very good Lille at the time, and it's taken him a while to settle. And I just think, is it the time to not kind of have a core of players that do have that experience that you're bringing in? But at the same time, I can't really, I wouldn't argue that point convincingly at all.
Don't get me wrong. I want Arsenal to do well this season, but I also want to get rid of the Deadwood, and we need to sort in-house business before we even think about going back to Europe. Because like literally, Arteta last season, he said, "Oh, we're learning." No, you have not learnt. The last 2 seasons we've played Olympiacos, same mistakes. And it's just like nobody takes any, like some of them do not take a blind bit of notice of him. And it's just, it's a tricky one because you can see certain people don't want to be there. And they've all been linked to get out the door anyway. So.
Yeah, and I think.
It's just tricky, really.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of activity left to be done. I think that players, I expect that at least 3 or 4 more that I can think of will probably get moved on. I think
Williams at the top of my list. He needs to go.
Oh yeah, I'd love nothing more for him to go. Although he did get an assist yesterday in pre-season. Hopefully that's helped his case out the door and not back into the manager.
If anything, he's the one who needs the pre-season training. I don't mean to be horrible, but he does. Especially after that picture that was all over social media. I was like, what? You're meant to be on holiday, but you're not meant to let yourself go like that.
No, it was crazy.
Especially what we're paying you.
But I think, it's going to be interesting. But I definitely think that there'll be some player outgoings now. I think after Ben White is announced, that's what we'll focus on. A few more outgoings just to survey who we can bring in, not from a perspective of the initial kind of cost, but the wage bill. I think we're really kind of committed to making further inroads into bringing that down. And I think, that's why our and Guimarães could be good for that. I think that they would probably not make massive indents into that situation. We did a show, as I mentioned, Lottie, we did a show on Husam Awar yesterday with Maddison along with Odegaard. I just wanted to show you his heat map as well compared to Guimarães, because he does play as an 8 as well, but he's an 8 that likes to drift into the left-hand channel, as you can see.
Thing is, I think I've said this somewhere before, but if he likes to drift on the left, but who's on the left that we've got as an absolute star? We can't. It concerns me that he'll be stepping on Saka's toes. I know they're meant to be playing as a team, but that's Saka's playground. He likes being on the left, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, I see Saka probably maybe playing on the right a bit more. Maybe Pepe as well.
In form. So you can't keep dropping Pep. We've paid 72 for him. Do you know what I mean? We've got to get him some game time. I'm quite happy to have Saka on the left and Pep on the right, and then at the moment preferred Lacazette up the middle for me. Right now.
I think it's difficult because I think both of them prefer the right, like Saka, and Saka likes to kind of cut inside, and so does Pepe onto their stronger foot.
Yeah.
But both can play on the left as well and do the same thing. But with that as well, sometimes I always favour having 2 wide players on each side, one that's right-footed, one that's left-footed. So if I wanted to use an inverted forward or winger system where they do that, where they cut inside, I can do. If I wanted to have them hugging the touchline and going a bit wider, I can do. And then usually, they can swap around as well and do the opposite thing on the other flank. But I think
like the Foden Grealish dream I had.
Yeah, I think like with he is naturally he's a central midfielder by trade, but he has said that he likes to drift into the left, so he could probably play on the left. You can see that
from his heat map. I mean, that's where it's like red hot, so he doesn't need to say it. We can see it.
So I think for him, it would just be good to have him because he can cover like the left, central midfield, both as an 8 and a number 10 as well. And he just kind of gives us a bit more creativity. I mean, for anyone that's watched him, I think Stephen will probably agree. He gives me Carzola vibes. He really does. Like he's in the way
completely with you on that one.
Yeah, the way he plays, like he's a short guy, solid technician, pretty proficient in using both of his feet, although his right foot is the stronger of the two. And he's low center of gravity so that he can kind of shift his body weight and pirouette to create space. He plays in a very similar mold as a playmaker. So, I mean, I like the look of our and the price as well. And just the fact that, I think he brings a bit of silk to both central midfield and potentially the wide left as well. But I mean, if you had to pick between those two, I mean, would you take Guimarães? Would it be Awar? Or
Steven's not going to forgive me for this, but I'm just going to have to go Guimarães. I don't know. There's something about him. As much as I like the idea of Awar. But if you weren't making me choose, I'd have both.
Yeah,
I'd have both.
So. I've said it. I think we need three central midfielders, a deep one.
Definitely. I mean, it's all. I know you enjoy the idea of Bissouma, but back of my mind is African Cup of Nations. We will lose our midfield if that happens, and January, February, we can't afford to be doing that. If you know what I mean. It's not 100% it's going ahead, but it's a possibility.
We'll see. Yeah, I think a lot.
I know we'll lose a few more, but the midfield will completely go.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get that, yeah, because they're El Neni as well. But yeah,
Pepe, Aubameyang. I think that's all of them. I know one touches in there. If I've missed anyone, you need to tell me. Nigerian Englishman. I know he's in there.
Yeah, no, I think we've got Pepe, El Neni. If Bissouma came, he would be there. Lokonga is of Congolese descent, but I think he's
nationality is Belgian. So he'd stay.
Yeah, I just think in terms of, I mean, looking at the teams like Bissouma's Malian international, respectfully, they're not going deep into the competition very often. Ghana with Partey is possible. They have one of the stronger teams. Ghana, Nigeria probably are the teams to beat in most cases from West Africa. Then you've got maybe your Egypts and your Algerias with the likes of Mahrez and Salah competing for those guys. So I get the whole African Cup of Nations thing, but I think we should just concentrate more on, if the player's right, get him and worry about those.
Definitely, it's. I try and look at it as a sort of long-term, not a short-term fix. To me, yeah, we've got them here from August all the way through to December. Yeah, that's all fine and dandy, but what when it comes to that, and then they need a holiday before they come back, that's even more time out. But thankfully, there's rumours it might be cancelled. If it is, I can eat humble pie and not complain.
Yeah. And how do you feel about this, Lottie? I mean, Silver Fox says that he feels Aouar would step on ESR's toes. I mean, me and Gumza had quite a heated debate on yesterday's edition of Gunslingers. I'm of the mind that, look, we've got some great young talents in Saka, in ESR, and in Martinelli, but they are just young talents as well. And for their game to develop, like when you look at Arsene Wenger and Sir Alex Ferguson's successful teams, you would have like the Giggses and the Scholes around in the latter stages of their career. Then you had Rooney kind of coming through at that 27 to kind of 30 gap. You had a few there. And then you had everyone else, like the youngers that were underneath them. You had like those three-tiered generations, almost as it were, of players kind of passing that experience down to each other and improving through training with each other. And obviously you mentioned it as well with Saka. I mean, for me, I just think we're not in a position, we can't go into next season and finish 8th again. And I just think it's a huge responsibility to be saying to these young players that it's only on your shoulders. And if you're not successful, the club is not going to be successful in that top 6 endeavor. Like, I think it's more pragmatic to bring in some, when I say experience, I mean like an Aouar and a Maddison, you know, and not worrying about their game time, because they are our future and they're going to play, and it's not going to mean that they're benched and that they don't get minutes. I think what will happen is they will compete for places. Gumza thought that would be too much level of competition. But I think with that comes the improving in quality on the training pitch, you know, because they've got those people to look up to that are already more established, that are doing things already that they've not yet done in their career, kind of giving them a roadmap to kind of follow, and some mentors to kind of guide them. And
I completely agree with you, but it also goes back to our conversation we had on the Piccadilly line about Smith Rowe. And possibly Lacazette leaving and going off to Atleti. Smith Rowe, as you told me, he said that Lacazette has sort of mentored him in the background. He's the one who's helped him improve his game, and he's another one I don't really want to see to go.
Yeah.
Even if he stays out for his contract. I mean, we spoke about this. As I said, we spoke about this earlier. But I'd rather him stay because ESR's game's common, and ESR is, on occasion, he's fragile, and he does get injured. If we don't have him, who's going to be there? And I think having someone like Auer or Maddison challenging him from that spot, it'll make him work harder, but it won't take him off the map. Because Arteta's rotation is okay, but it's not fantastic. He needs to work on that. But
he does rotate players, though. Like, he is one of
the
that is more rotational than average managers, which was like what I was trying to convey as well. And I think a lot of people are thinking, well, there's only one game a week, so why would he need to rotate if players are doing well and they don't get rotated out?
It won't be one game a week all the time. It will for a little while, but we've got Carabao Cup, we've got FA Cup coming. If all of a sudden they're all tin pot cups because they're domestic. No, I mean the FA Cup is one of the biggest cups in the world. I'm not the fan of the Carabao Cup, but it's a trophy at the end of the day.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the injury record of Smith Rowe and Martinelli as well, it's the track record isn't good as well. And I just think it's a huge risk to commit to not strengthening, as Stephen has said here, in depth. Just because I feel like we're buying too much into the narrative of, we haven't got Europe next season. We've only got to compete in the league. We don't need a big squad. That's correct. But I think that people are buying too much into how small our squad or how lacking in depth our squad can be for a top 4 challenge or even a top 6 challenge.
Definitely. I mean, the depth's been a problem for a while, but some people just don't want to look past that. Well, it's all right. We've got the Europa League. I mean, we've had no Champions League football in nearly. This will be the 6th year going on now, 2015, and it's kind of weird because I'm sure I'm one of many. I'm like, this is the first time I've never seen Arsenal in Europe in a season. And do you know what? It's going to sound really bad coming from me, but I'm kind of relieved because they're not learning from their mistakes. We've got so much in-house shit to sort out, and I'm hoping they will get their acts together so that we can compete. I mean, we got to a final, and then we lost to a yellow submarine with our ex-manager in the semi.
I think what you said there was I think an interesting part of it was, sort of the overriding or overall arching kind of theme that so much went wrong last season that, with coming out of Europe, that was kind of like one of many straw that broke the camel's back moments. I think ESL, the fan backlash towards that just before being knocked out didn't help. And I think, West Ham finishing above us in addition to Tottenham and Chelsea winning the Champions League, you can talk of all these things. I just really don't think it's the time to not strengthen. Severely strengthen, and credit to these young players. They carried us. Yeah, they carried us last season. I think I think the win rate was around 67% when he came into the team from Christmas. And Saka, I think you could see towards the end of this last season, I think he was overplayed. And he was tired, So I think, why not have depth in these positions? 2 in the left positions, 2 in the 10, 2 on the right, 2 or 3. For me personally, I think you need 4 central midfielders, like deeper lying ones. You need 2 kind of one kind of box to box come playmaker, one playmaker, you know, kind of like your traditional destroyer, you know, and then, you know, maybe, you know, kind of a bit more of an attacking playmaker. You know, the attacking, deep lying playmaker, so to say.
I think we have strengthened that left side a bit with Tavares.
Absolutely.
Because he used to be a winger. So, and if you look at his heat map, I've got one on my blog because I did a massive post about him. And his heat map is mainly exactly in the same place as ours.
Yeah.
And that's where he plays. And he's definitely going to learn a lot off Tierney, but he needs to improve his like defensive skills. For sure. I mean, I think a good option. People are not going to like this, but he would be very interesting alongside Kieran Tierney as Tierney as a centre back. I think it could get very interesting if Arteta did play him like that. I know Tierney's wasted there, but it could be interesting.
I said that as well. Like, if we're playing against teams, if we're playing against a City or a Chelsea, Chelsea use a back three system. So if you want to mirror up a back three system that they're using, if you had Tierney and White either side of, say, a Rob Holding, and then your Tavares as your left wing back, and well, I mean, we'd need to get another one. But let's say we use Bellerin for now as the right wing back. But it's all we got at the moment until we go out and get something else.
I would have gone for Chambers personally. He's been all right recently, but gone.
Yeah, I think as a wing back, like maybe because when you're playing with wing back, it's not as important that they're good defensively, because the idea is, as I was getting to, if it splits, so if the wing back goes forward, then the guy that's the right or the left centre back shifts across and becomes a right back in a back four.
Yeah.
So to say. So if you did that on the left side with Tavares and Tierney, when Tavares goes forward, Tierney just slots and it's a back four, you know, with the left back. Yeah, and I think that could definitely work against more defensive teams.
I knew that was coming.
Look, I'm not having that Bellerin's terrible going forward. You know, I think where his game lets him down is defensively. And
the thing is, I still feel he's lost some of his speed though.
He's lost his pace. Yeah, like he's lost the yard of it or two. But if I had to pick his strength, it's definitely going forward. And you know, like I think if you're not on someone like Trent's level, you'll get exposed in a back four if you're someone like Bellerin. Whereas in a back three, when you've got a lot more license to stay higher up the pitch and go forward, and your strength already is going forward, I'm just saying that's like Chambers is getting better going forward and is underrated going forward. But I just think Chambers is better defensively. Would I play Chambers as a wing back? No, I would play Chambers as a right back in a back four. I wouldn't favour playing him as a wing back. That's my personal opinion. Right. So, but yeah, that's another position we've got to sort out. Definitely is right back.
Definitely, I like the idea of Max Aarons at the moment. But
of
I can't see Norwich selling their Max Aarons.
Yeah.
But I can't see Norwich selling their two best players in one window. It's not going to happen.
You never know. I mean, you know, stranger things have happened, but yeah, I think you're right. You know, like they've left it very late now. So unless they've kind of found a replacement or able to secure a replacement quickly, who knows? You know, like. Definitely. But
I think we've still got full.
That's a question from Silver Fox on the right back position.
I'm not taking Baku because that gives me nightmares. That name still gives me nightmares.
Name association.
Aarons. Yeah, it's just nightmares every time.
Yeah, I mean, again, he's of the three, he's the most proven in the Premier League as well, right?
Yeah.
So
definitely, and that's what we need, especially if we want to be challenging for the cups and the league.
Yeah, and let's hope they get the right back position sorted. I was going to do a story on Martinez as well, and I suppose we could talk about that quickly. Lautaro Martinez from Inter Milan. reports us linking us to offering Bellerin as part of in a part of the exchange deal. They're very rare. Very rare do you actually see actual swaps, but yeah, I think we're valuing. Yeah, exactly that. You know, we're valuing Bellerin at around 30 million euros, which I think we won't get.
The
they're
Italian clubs
valuing
are broke.
Yeah.
French clubs are broke. We've got all the money. I don't mean to be funny.
So they're valuing Martinez at 77 million. So talk is we'd look at a 40 to 50 million pound bid and Bellerin. For Lautaro Martinez, he got 19 goals and 11 assists last season in the Italian league. I mean, would that be a deal that you would be in favour of, you know, in terms of getting rid of a player that isn't favoured in our squad to a club that want to buy him and that he wants to go to, but that can't really afford him? I think it seems interesting.
Send Bellerin on his way. Send him.
Yeah.
Get rid of him. But like, obviously, we need someone to like step up into that right back position. Obviously, Cedric doesn't cut it for me. Chambers is Chambers to me. But no. Back to Lautaro Martinez. I think it'd be really interesting because obviously he can play on that left wing. He can be the centre forward. I did actually watch him take a penalty against Udinese in Serie A, which he was very like cool, calm, collected, and straight in, ice cold with that goal. I think if I remember rightly, Inter beat Udinese 5-1 that day. That was a bit crazy. But I think I also saw him score against Real Madrid in the Champions League last season, I think, which was a really, really nice goal. But that's as much as I've seen of him from what I can gather off YouTube and things. His defensive contributions are unusual for a centre forward. They're not amazing, but they're pretty solid. He's got no hesitation in front of that goal. There's no faffing around like we see, dare I say it, Aubameyang does. No hesitation. He just shoots. Even if he's knocking it off his head, his foot, whatever. He just shoots. If it goes in, it goes back in the net. I mean, he scored did we say 19 goals last season?
No, he got 19 goal involvements, but 11 of them were goals and 9 of those were assists as well. So I like players. I like strikers that are creative as well. Like you look at Henry's best season. Well, not his best season, but one of his standout seasons was 24 goals, 20 assists. You know, when you've got that ratio of being able to create a high goals per game ratio and assist per game ratio, you know, then you're looking at like your goal involvements per games being really high, because if you're not able to score and influence a game that way, a lot of people, and I do find it a bit of a casual statement, but a lot of people do say that if Aubameyang isn't scoring in a game, he's not effective. And the statistics would back that up to a degree, but my point with Martinez would be he's the sort of striker that seems to be doing both at a fairly even rate, and can definitely contribute to us being more creative and being more effective at scoring chances as well.
No, completely with you. I mean, Aubameyang hasn't been amazing, but I think he had an off season. Last season was a strange season. I'm not making excuses for anybody, but he's had it a lot worse than most of those players on that pitch, and I think people are already writing him off. I mean, I think I put a tweet out last night, and the amount of outrage that I said, why are people writing him off? It's just pre-season. It's just fitness. It's not like we're earning points. It's just, I don't understand the fan base on that subject. I really don't. Yes, he's on the money. Yes, he's got new contracts. He's having a shit time. You lot being negative and hounding him on social media is not going to help him up his game. It's going to make it worse. Like, he's a human being, regardless if he's a footballer or not. But no. Back to Martinez. I mean, looking at him with the YouTube videos again a bit more closely, his technical elegance is absolutely beautiful. The way he passes, like he's even his like just his long shots. He just the way that he manages to get the ball to cut around it. It's just nice. It's nice to watch, and I think that's something we've been missing for a while. He's also got that really good aerial presence in the box, which we don't have. I've been like since we lost Ollie, we haven't had any aerial presence at all. I mean, Lacazette tries, but it's not his thing.
It seems to be like, if you look at the strikers we have been linked with, to give you some examples, Andre Silva at Frankfurt, who fits that mold. He's very, decent aerially, but also good with the ball at his feet. Also has a decent amount of pace. Tammy Abrahams, I mean, a lot of Chelsea fans say he's not very good in the air, but he is tall, very rangy.
Want any Chelsea clearance shop players? Thank you.
Yeah, no, I don't need them.
Yeah. Like we're either getting the players out of the retirement home, or we're having the clearance. I don't want either.
That's it. But I mean, if you now look at this guy as well, Lautaro Martinez, as you were saying, looking at someone that can get on the end of crosses. I mean, we've got people like Tavares, Tierney, Tavares being a very good crosser of the ball as well. Cedric having a decent cross, like Saka, Pepe having good crosses. You kind of need that, right?
No,
that
definitely.
Kind of striker.
Yeah.
It seems to be the direction we want to go in.
No, definitely. I mean, I think I caught maybe a game in the Copa America, and I don't think he started, but he came on as a sub, and I wasn't really paying attention. It was like stupid o'clock in the morning, but he did look okay. He did look all right. Like he made a total of 6 appearances. He had three goals and 1 yellow card for the whole tournament, which for me it's 6 games under his belt. It's not bad.
No, yeah, he had a good tournament, absolutely, and obviously went on to win that with Argentina, raised the stock.
If you break it down into stats, I think that's about 20% of all the goals they scored.
Yeah.
As well, so that's just brilliant. Even though he played 66% of minutes, so I think it's not bad at all.
Definitely combinated very well with Messi. That was something else that I forgot to point out as well. Those guys played very well together throughout the tournament. But I think guys, I think that will be it for today. Lottie, it's been really good to have you on. Pleasure as always. It's so good to have you back, and it's a pleasure as always to have guys on from the Cannon Chatter. If you're not already, guys, please follow and subscribe to their channel. Check out some of their content. It's we're partnering with them on a lot of stuff as well. We will leave the links in the bio section for you to be able to follow Lottie and the rest of the Cannon Chatter crew. But on the subject of likes and subscribing as well, guys, please don't forget. To hit the likes and subscribe to our channel as well, comment, and we're obviously a growing platform, and all of your contributions to those things will help us. The links will be in the description to follow Cannon Chatter as well. Big up G Talks, we will catch you guys up. It will be next week now that the court is back on Monday. I will keep people updated on the guests that you can expect to see on Monday and Thursday's show. Don't forget to check out FTB Sports and the other affiliated channels, Paxton Road, Cop Talk, and the Man United Agenda as well. And Lottie and everyone else, I will catch you guys very soon.